Good morning. Happy back to school. I hope you're excited. I am going back to school. So, yeah, I hope you're excited. Today I'm going to give you some tips. This is mainly aimed towards freshmen going into college for the first time, but I think these tips can be useful for anyone at any level. And I'm going to be telling you them as I do activities to get myself ready for back to school. First on the list is going through my backpack from previous years and reorganizing it, taking things out, and really making it like just what I need to have, you know, because clutter builds up in these things, I'm telling you. Tip number one, go through your backpack. Tip number one that I wanted to talk about is everyone you meet your freshman year or any year is not going to be everyone you will ever meet. I feel like when you start college, you meet all these new people. It's like a huge transition for everyone, no matter how prepared you think you are. It's not like any experience you've probably ever had. And you're meeting a ton of new people. And everyone that's on your floor or in your dorm, you kind of feel like, or I kind of felt like, this is like the group. This is my group of people because it's who I'm living with this year. And that's just not true. You're gonna meet people every single year you are alive, including college. So don't really put a lot of pressure on making all of your friends and all of your best friends in your first year. And of course you're gonna meet some great people your freshman year that you might stay friends with forever. That's totally fine and normal as well. And if you don't like the people you're living with or who are surrounding you, it's okay. They're not the only people you're gonna meet. They're not the only friends you're gonna make. So don't feel like you're stuck with certain people or have to force friendships. And people who you think you might be really good friends with your freshman year, you might not be really good friends with your senior year, and that's also okay. I would go in with the expectation of no expectations about who you're gonna be friends with, who you're gonna be friends with forever, who you're not gonna like. Just go and meet people and decide for yourself who you hang out with that makes you feel good, and go from there. So all of this was in just these pockets. Time to reorganize. Time to reorganize. So next thing I need to do to get ready for back to school is pick out my outfits for the week. I forgot to mention, but I'm actually going back to school as a teacher, not so much as a student. I am still in a student position. I'm student teaching, but so my first week of school outfits are going to be a little more professional. I'm only in the high school that I'm at 3 days a week. One of them, there's something I already have to wear, so should be pretty simple to pick the other 2 days. But if any of you are interested in a whole teacher lookbook or teacher outfit ideas, I would be happy to do that. Just let me know. And yeah, I'll be sharing 2 more tips with you while I decide on what I'm gonna wear for 2 days. For day 1, I have to wear like a spirit wear shirt. So I just need to pick out some pants. I think I already know what pants I'm gonna wear though, so let me get them. Lovely pants, polka dotted and black and white. So I'm gonna wear these with my spirit wear shirt for day 1. So the next tip that I want to share is don't waste. I would consider it a waste. You may think differently, that's fine, but don't waste your time trying to be in a relationship the whole time or trying to impress your preferred sex the whole time. Not worth your time. This is an unbelievable opportunity to really get to know yourself and to be with yourself and alone with yourself and see how you react in so many different situations that are going to be thrown at you. And I feel like having a partner in college, sometimes it works, obviously, but most of the time it doesn't. And I feel like you're missing out on a huge opportunity to get to know yourself in probably the biggest period of growth that you're gonna have potentially your whole life. So I would really recommend that you spend a lot of time on yourself in college, getting to know what you like, getting to know how you react in different situations, getting to know your personality, getting to know just what you want to do with your life, and being okay with being with yourself. I think it is the perfect time to do that, perfect age, the perfect environment. A lot of people who are in relationships in college have said to me that they regretted it, or they wished that they hadn't spent so much time on this other person when they could have been spending time on themselves, or spending time going to all the amazing free opportunities and events that colleges and universities have. Obviously, if one comes your way and you really feel that that is going to be an amazing decision for you, go for it. I'm not saying you should ignore or block love from entering into your life, but you really need to, or I would really recommend that you spend this time working on giving yourself the love that you might have been looking for. So for my second day, but first sort of my choice outfit, I think I'm going with these. They're like a brown mid-calf length pant and this just green top tucked into them. I think that will be really nice, and I have some brown little heels that kind of match the pants. So that's what I'm going for day 2. And my third piece of advice, which kind of relates to the last piece of advice, is to experiment, 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 experience as much as you can. There are so many free events and opportunities and lectures and educational opportunities and fun things to do on most college campuses in America. Not really sure about abroad, but probably. I mean, college campuses are a really unique place to be able to grow and experience as much as possible. And you're really not gonna get another opportunity like that probably for the rest of your life. And when there's so many free opportunities, obviously you're paying for it with your tuition, but not extra money. And I would really recommend trying out as many different things as you can. So that could be different clubs, that could be different events, that could be different sports, that could be different friend groups, that could be different ways of studying, that could be different classes, lectures. I mean, there's so much to do on college campuses, and I feel like there's this trend and pattern of when you graduate college, you don't really know what you're doing, you don't know what you want. A lot of new graduates experience some sort of existential crisis when they graduate, and I feel like the more you try in college and the more you can either cross off, I don't really like this, I don't want to do this, and things that you can say, oh wow, that was really interesting, that made me excited, I was engaged that whole time. You can really figure out the kinds of things you like while you're in college. I know you have a major, and a lot of your classes you take have to do with that major, but there's so many things you can do outside of class time as well. And most colleges have general education or elective requirements where you can take different classes outside of your major. Every single gen ed that I took had nothing to do with my major because I wanted to experience as many different paths and subjects as I could to really understand what I want and what I like and the things that will make me happy later in life. And I feel like that helps a lot when you graduate, to bring some more calm into your life. Obviously, it's still probably going to be stressful for most people, because it's a huge transition again, but I feel like doing as much as you can in college will really, really help with that. And I know when you're just starting out as a freshman, that is like, it's kind of abstract, like, oh, I have 4 whole years to do all these things, but no, it will go by fast. Take advantage every year of things that pique your interest and go alone. Go alone if nobody wants to go with you. Obviously, if people do want to go with you, you can go with them. But don't stop yourself from experiencing and trying new things because you don't want to go to events or lectures alone. Okay? When you graduate, nobody's going to tell you what's going to make you happy, okay? You're going to have to figure that out yourself. So go to these events alone. Try all these things alone if you want to and nobody else is interested. Do it anyway. Finally, for my day 3 outfit for teaching, I am going to do these lovely plaid pants. Amazing, with just a basic white t-shirt tucked into them with the same brown small heels. Next on my to-do list back at the desk is to go through all the papers that I have already, and organize them and sort of create binders for the things I need. So my next tip is to get a job. I highly recommend that you work during the school year if you can handle that load. I know a lot of people need to work to pay for school, to survive, obviously, but I really find a lot of value in working during college, whether you need to or not. I am lucky that I did not need to work through college, but I got a job while I was there, and it was probably the best decision I had made the whole time I was at college. I met so many of my friends there. I had fun working, and obviously I made money, which is so great. If you can make money during college and save up, that is going to help you so much when you graduate, okay? Money is hard to come by right after you graduate. Either you're looking for a job or you just started at your job, and it's really nice to have things saved up before you graduate. Obviously, people work a lot during the summers while they're in school and save up money from that, but for me that was never really enough money. I mean, I didn't really have any major internships. If you are getting paid in the summer a decent amount, it's still really, really beneficial to be able to work at school and save up money from that. And also, on-campus jobs are probably some of the most flexible jobs that exist, because everybody knows that you're a student. They all know you have class. That's the norm, that you will not be available for many hours every day. So most on-campus jobs have a very low minimum number of hours. You can always work as much as you want, but a low minimum. Easy trading schedules if you can't work a shift, easy portals to trade with your coworkers, and just generally, genuinely know that you're a student and you're busy, and they take that into account. So obviously working is another thing on your plate if you're a student, but I think it's really beneficial. It was the best decision I made in college, and I'm so thankful for the job I had while I was at university. So I might be a little biased, but I highly recommend. So I made progress. Basically everything's organized now, so that was not too bad at all. So I'm going to share another tip with you, just for you. You're so welcome. Next is to know your priorities. Okay, There is definitely going to be times, if not the whole time, in college where your life feels a little unbalanced, okay? There's a lot that you have to keep track of when you're in college, and I think it's really important to know your priorities so when opportunities and questions come to you, you can have a way of looking at them and saying, will doing this help me in my priorities? That way you can have some more discernment when you're saying yes to things or no to things. Definitely take time for yourself and say no to things. You cannot do it all. Don't feel like you have to. So you can prioritize things like health, your academics, your social life, your involvement in clubs, your sleep, your creative hobbies, spending time in nature, your family, your finances. Go through all of those things and prioritize them so you know when hard situations come up, how to move forward in line with your values based on the things that you prioritized high. Priorities are not the same all the time, so you should be doing this, at least every year, looking back on it and deciding if you really still agree with how you prioritize things the year before, or the month before, or the semester before. I mean, do it as often as you want, but I think knowing your priorities and having something to look at, so either typing it or writing them down, will help you make better decisions and help you, again, focus on getting to know yourself. So it's also a good exercise in getting to know yourself. So highly recommend that you do that. I think it will be very helpful and important and valuable to you. Okay, so next on the to-do list, still at my desk, we are going through my calendar and adding things like assignments and tests and events. Anything I gotta add is getting added. Anything that I know of so far. So while I do that, I wanted to talk about my next tip, which kind of relates to the prioritizing part we were just discussing. So some of you may have said that your number one priority is your academics or your grades, and that's fine. I would really encourage you to question why you prioritize that so high though, and if there's any external influences on that decision. Because this advice is that grades are not something that you need to be stressing out about all the time. Obviously, a slight amount of stress is going to be helpful in helping you get your assignments done and pass your classes and get the degree that you want, but it should not ruin your college experience. It shouldn't be something that is causing you so much stress that it is really unhealthy. Because in reality, grades are made up. They're not a real thing. They're somebody's judgment on how well you know a certain material. And people take grades very seriously because it's kind of a part of our culture. But I would really urge you to realize that grades are not everything. Grades aren't going to make you a good person. And they can help you get the job that you might want, but good grades are not a guarantee for you to get the job that you want or for you to go forward in life the way you want. Life is a mishmash of experiences and anything could happen, and if you put so much value on grades, something that is not rooted in yourself and something that isn't even real, it's kind of just a recipe for disaster. So I would say don't stress too much about grades. I know my freshman year, spring semester, I was doing so poorly in one class. And let me just say, you will not, 99% of you will not do as well as you did in high school, in college, at least your first year, okay? College is very different classroom-wise, and it's gonna take time for you to figure out what study methods work for you, what scheduling and time management works for you, what organization works for you. You're gonna be juggling a lot of academics when you start college, and so I would personally think if you were a straight-A student in high school, it's not super realistic to expect that those A's are gonna come to you as easily in college. I personally have been kind of a straight B student my whole life. I never got a C in high school. In college, I got multiple C's, some of them C minuses, some of them C pluses, but still multiple C's. And that is kind of the norm. And at first that's gonna feel really bad and discouraging, but just know that college is harder, okay? It's more difficult, and your grades are not the be-all end-all of your future. So you can prioritize your education high up on your list, but make sure you're prioritizing it because you're internally motivated to learn and you're curious about gaining more knowledge, not because of a letter that you feel like you need or you feel like identifies you or is a part of your identity, because that is not a constant. It's not going to matter later in life, okay? Like I said, some jobs it will help you with, some jobs you need certain grades, scholarships you might need certain GPAs. Different scenarios make grades different levels of important for your future. But no matter what, your grades do not change your inherent worth as a human being. Final tips and final back to school activity. I'm gonna be painting my toenails, and you might be saying, that's kind of a waste of time, Lauren. You're gonna be wearing closed-toed shoes like every day, and nobody's gonna see it. But I wanted to paint my toenails because I've had a nail polish on for like, I don't even know, like over 6 months now, and I feel like if you're going back to school, it would be a great idea to take a day, the day before or a few days before, to have a nice self-care day, you know, have a facial maybe, or just do your own face mask. Maybe have a massage, paint your nails, do something nice for yourself and for how you feel about how you look, because like I said, this whole video, you're going to be meeting a lot of new people. It's going to be a lot of new experiences. And if you can do things that make you more confident before you go to school, I think that's a great idea. Even if nobody is going to see them or notice them, it's about how you feel. So I'm going to paint my toenails, and while I do that, I will be telling you my last 2 tips. I have to take off my previous nail polish. So the first one is that college will not last forever. Everything will pass in college, and it will pass fast. And have gratitude as much as you can while you're in college, because really college is such a privilege. I mean, today, in this day and age, with how expensive it is and how sort of academically exclusive it can be, it really is such a privilege. You don't really have a right to go to college. And if you are in a college situation with, like I said, all of these amazing events and opportunities and a chance to learn, be grateful for it, because it's really, really amazing, and a lot of people wish they could be in your position and have that chance to pursue a higher education. Also, like I said, it's super expensive, so take advantage, okay? Get your money's worth by, you know, actually learning as much as you can while you're there. I find that, you know, when I first got to college, I didn't really understand the value of the classes I was taking and how much they were offering me. I was not super interested in all of my classes, and I wasn't really grateful for those chances I had to learn. And when you realize how many people who are out there that don't get to have an education, especially at this level, I feel like it really changes your perspective and gives you more motivation and more gratitude within college. So if you could go in with that in your head, I think it will make the whole thing much better. Just know that it will pass really fast. Do not take it for granted. Those things, those events that you keep saying you want to go to, make the time as soon as possible, okay? They're not gonna be there forever. Time for the polish. And sort of going off my last point, a lot of people you've probably heard say college is the best 4 years of your life. And sometimes it feels that way, but I would say it's also the worst 4 years of your life, okay? College is a roller coaster emotionally, physically. Every part of you is going to experience some change. And it's kind of a crazy time. There will be good times. There will also be really bad times. And I feel like you just gotta know going in that both the good and the bad are normal and that they will both pass. And life is a roller coaster full of good and bad, and college, I feel like, really heightens it. It's like you're not on the kiddie ride anymore, okay? You're on a big girl roller coaster. And that is just part of the experience. You will feel really happy sometimes, and you'll also probably feel really low at some times. And maybe one of them will dominate the other, and I hope that is the happy one. Just go in knowing that it's okay. You will be okay. You will make it, okay? I promise. The bad moments in college are good moments eventually because they teach you so much. And, you know, if you take the time to reflect, you will come out of college being so much better than you were when you went in. Expect the best and the worst. And actually, expect nothing, because you'll experience everything that comes to you as it does. And it is okay to change during college. I think everybody does. If they don't, that is worrisome. You know, it's okay that you might not relate to the same people. You might not want the same things, and it might feel weird when you go home after being away for so long. That's when you really see how much you've changed. Okay, toes are painted. Advice has been given. If you are starting college this year, or if you're just going back to school, I really wish you the best. It's going to be an amazing year because I know you are going to make it amazing. And hopefully these tips can help with that transition, especially if you are just starting a new school. I hope you have an amazing weekend if you're watching this on the weekend, and take some time for yourself. And I will see you in the next video. Feel free to leave a comment below about maybe some advice you have for people going into college, or maybe something that you're worried about going into college and want advice on. And also follow me on Instagram. I post pictures there pretty often, and I love photography, so I would love to have you over there as well. And thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye!